Hey, everybody. I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, a place where y'all come to get some words of encouragement, some uplifting, and just a positive message. Today's episode is a good one. It's based off an interesting conversation that I was having with a couple of my friends a few days ago. And that's pretty much, being able to wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, with me, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see some of my friends get into some creative spaces and doing their things, and they're flourishing at at a at an amazing level, and I love it for them because I remember a lot of us started around the same time, you know what I'm saying? So as I see them going down whatever paths they chose to go down, as I see them doing their things, and I see that they're starting to rise, and they're starting to reach new heights, new levels, and open up new doors for themselves and new opportunities. Number one, I'm happy for them. I don't ever hate, I don't ever wish bad, and I don't ever say, man, I wish that was me, or I wish that we could switch places, because I understand that when it's my time. You know what I'm saying? When my time comes, it comes, and I'm gonna do my very best to make sure that I make the best of my opportunities. But while it ain't my time, and why it's this person or that person's time, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm cheering them on. Of course, I'm being supportive. Of course, I'm liking everything that I'm seeing. I'm commenting, congratulations, proud of you. I'm doing all of that because I want to see, what I'm saying, my friends make it. I want to see their dreams come true. And I know that when my time comes around and I start to do better and I start to rise, I know that they'll show the love back. But you do have people who don't know how to wait their turn. You do have people who don't understand that, you know what I'm saying? Just because you may start at the same time don't mean that you'll both pop at the same time, doesn't mean that you're both going to rise at the same rate. You know what I'm saying? You got people whose avenues may be easier than yours. You got situations where, they may have people backing them and you don't. You might be doing this by yourself. So for me, I'm a firm believer in focusing on your race, focusing on staying in your lane, doing what you need to do, and not worrying about others. So for me, when I see all of my friends, you know what I'm saying, doing what they're doing, it's all love on my end. I love it. I love to see it. I love to support it. I love that they're doing it and they're going for it, because all it does for me is affirm that I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because this is one of the few things that I put a lot of time into, and it doesn't feel like work. So I know that this is the route. I know that I'm in the right space. I know that I'm, in the right lane doing what I need to be doing. I just gotta continue doing it, and just keep, what I'm saying, keep being consistent with it until it starts to pick up and it starts to do what it's supposed to do. But for me, while I gotta sit still and wait my turn and wait my time, you know what I'm saying, I don't have to hate on the people who are, moving ahead. I don't have to hate on the people who are, getting those levels of success that I want, or getting the levels of recognition that I want. You know what I'm saying? I can still show love to them because I understand that it's just their time. You know what I'm saying? And when my time comes, again, when my time comes, my time will come. But until then, I'm supporting and I'm pushing every single person that I can. If somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm trying to do content, da 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 da." Okay, what's your name? You know what I'm saying? And I'm liking, I'm supporting, I'm doing all of that, because that's just me. I understand now that I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? I understand how hard it is, or at least how, well, yeah, I can say how hard it is, how time consuming it is, you know, depending on whatever space you're in. It may be hard to come up with topics. It may be hard for you to talk about something for, you know what I'm saying, 30, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever the case may be, especially when, like me, you're doing it by yourself. I don't have a co host to kind of bounce ideas off of, you know what I'm saying? But I say all that just to say I support people, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't look at it like, well, if it ain't my time, then I don't like nobody. Or when I'm down, I don't like nobody. I can't support nobody. That's just not me. That's not who I am. And I don't want to turn into that person. You gotta learn how to you got to learn how to wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to learn how to reinvent whatever it is that you're doing, because maybe, you know what I'm saying, what you're doing just isn't working. It's not connecting. Because I was watching a podcast the other day, and they were just talking about, if it's something like I just said, if you struggle to speak on something for 30, 40 minutes, and it's something that you're not passionate about, or something you can't get through a whole 30, 40 minutes or an hour, whatever the case may be, to, you know, if you can't get through that conversation, or you're struggling to get through that conversation, then maybe you need to pick something new to talk about. Maybe you need to pick something. You really just need to look at yourself and figure out what it is that you're passionate about. What are the things that you care about? And for me, one of the things that I care about is self-help, self-healing, self-improvement, getting better, trying to stay positive in negative situations and things like that. So that's why for me, I can talk about these things for 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour, whatever, because this is just what I am passionate about, things that I do care about. And obviously there are other things that I care about. Like, I love sports. I'm a very funny, goofy person. I know I don't always get to show my personality, you know, because of the subject matter. But like I said, when I get to a point to where I can start um having start doing interviews, or start having co-hosts on and things like that, you'll get to see a lot more of my personality. But right now, when it's just me and the camera, you only get certain parts of my personality. And but yeah, so there's other things that I will love to talk about at some point in time. But right now, you know, it's just mainly, you know, trying to motivate people who might be in dark places in life right now, and just need an encouraging word. I just had somebody message me on TikTok last night saying how, you know, they were just in a bad relationship, and, you know, they were in like some dark places. I'm paraphrasing, so, you know, but they were in some dark places and going through a lot. And my videos on TikTok helped them kind of start. And so I, you know, just start getting into a better place and helping motivate them and just get them out of that bad place that they was in mentally. And so for me, that's what that's what I'm trying to do, you know, especially with this channel, especially with this Beyond the Fear podcast. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about getting past your fears, getting past that fear of failure, that fear of whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Just the unknown, you know, when you're getting ready to try something new, getting past that. And so that's what this channel, that's what this podcast is all about. So that's mainly the things that I want to touch on and talk about. So, you know what I'm saying? These are things that I know I can talk about for hours if need be. Again, especially like I said, once I start bringing people on and things like that, once I really start to get a grasp of my formula and what works for me, and I can start bringing people in, and we can really start diving deeper into conversations, then the episodes will start to get longer, and you know what I'm saying? And you will get to see more of my personality as I start to bring people on, especially people who know me, people who grew up with me, people who understand how I operate. You'll get to see more of me. But you know what I'm saying? For right now, it's kind of hard expressing or showing all sides of me when, you know what I'm saying, it's just like, you know, you really try to keep it on like a certain level or a certain type of subject matter. And for me, and that's fine. I feel like if I was going to start doing something, that this was what I wanted to start doing, because for me, when I started making videos, not necessarily making a podcast, but when I started doing these videos, I was in a very like depressed space. I was in a very dark place myself, and I kept coming up with excuses as to why I didn't want to start um doing videos, or why I didn't want to start doing my podcast. And then, you know, slowly but surely, you know, just starting to see really, and it's just me being honest, really, it was just starting to see some of my friends who were in the same spot as me, like, hey, I want to do something different. I want to try something different. Seeing them go try it and succeed at it, it was just like, what am I doing? Why am I allowing my fears to hold me back? And it's just like, just being honest, that's what I've done my whole life. So that's all I know. So this was a big step for me, and this, it's still continuing to be a big step. And so when I get messages like I got the other day that keep going because your words have encouraged me, your words have brought me out of this bad place, your words have helped lift me up out of some, some dark times or some bad times. It's like, okay, I know I'm doing what I need to be doing. I know that I'm on the right path. I just need to start fine tuning and figuring other things out so that I can start to do it bigger and better and continue presenting it at a higher and higher level. So again, like I say, when I tell y'all that I'm thankful for y'all support, I'm thankful for the people who watch, I'm thankful for the people who listen, I'm thankful for the people who take the time to comment, like whatever y'all do. I appreciate all the support that I get because y'all just don't understand how well, and I know that there are people out there who do understand how big and how scary of a step, a leap of faith this was. Because again, even now, I'm not profiting off of this. This is just me doing this off the love and off the passion and off the hope that someday I can. So, but what I'm saying, just to get as much positive feedback that I've been getting, man, it's been great. It's been wonderful. And I am very, very thankful. But to get back to what I'm talking about, what we were talking about the other day is you have to wait your turn. You got to understand that it's okay that if you start, you and your homeboy, your homegirl, friends, whatever, y'all all could start something, start y'all journeys at the same time. But again, everybody's conditions are not going to be the same. You might be carving a path that hasn't been carved before. So you getting ready to take this road for the first time. So the road ain't gonna be smooth, you know what I'm saying? Whereas somebody else might be taking a path that's been walked thousands, millions of times, you know what I'm saying? So that path is smooth. They know what to look out for. They know what to watch for because that path has been taken, or they may have people backing them. They may have support. They may have financial support, whatever it is. They just may have support. They may have people pushing them. So, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they're going to excel faster because they have a support system around them. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to, you shouldn't hate, especially if they're your friends. But even if they're not your friends, don't hate on anybody that's in the space that you're in, or anybody starting a journey that you're starting, because I'm a firm believer in whatever you put out is going to come back to you. Now, whatever you call that karma, you call that fate, whatever you call it is what you call it. But I am a firm believer in whatever you put out is going to find its way back to you. So that's why for me, it's always important to show love. And it's easier for me when it's people that I know. It's easy for me to show love to my people when I know them, you know what I'm saying, being around them. I know that they're good people, they got good hearts, they're trying. I know that they're, you know what I'm saying, going out on this limb, trying something new, trying something that's scary for the first time, you know what I'm saying? But I love when it works out. And obviously I hate it when it doesn't. But I love when it works out. I love when they make that decision to go, and you know what I'm saying, and they start to see, even if they don't start to see the profit, but they just start to get a sense of freedom. Like, man, I get to do what I want to do. I might not be making the returns that I want to make right now, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I took that leap of faith, and I can see that my dreams are, you know what I'm saying, within reach. I can see profit at the end of this tunnel. I can see my goals at the end of this tunnel or whatever. And so for me, I love seeing that, and all that does for me is, instead of giving me a reason to hate, it motivates me. It gives me a reason to continue to go hard with what I'm doing. It motivates me to continue to push out content and continue to push myself to be better at promoting, the podcast, or promoting these videos, because I can be honest with myself and honest with y'all and say that that's not one of my greatest strengths, is promoting myself and putting myself out there. Because like I've said from the very get-go, I'm someone who really don't like taking pictures. I'm not someone who doesn't really like being seen. So it's kind of hard for me to push or promote things that I'm doing, because I'm not used to being the one in front of the quote unquote camera. I'm used to being, I mean, if I had to put it in like story terms or anime terms, I'm not used to being the main character. I'm just used to being the side character that pushes the main character, that supports the main character that's there for the main character to talk to in their time of need. So now that I'm trying to switch to putting me first and, you know what I'm saying, putting what I want and my focus is first and trying to be the main character is definitely presented its own set of challenges. And one of those challenges for me is promoting my stuff. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have good quality stuff, not the greatest quality, but I mean, for someone who's just starting, I feel like I'm putting out good quality content. I feel like I'm talking about quality stuff. It's just for me, it's hard to promote myself because I'm not used to being in this arena. This arena isn't my quote unquote my arena. It's not my norm. It's not my comfort zone. And so I'm pushing against stuff. I'm going against stuff because I know I should just be pushing it out and promoting it on everything. And it's just kind of hard for me because again, as someone who doesn't, you know what I'm saying, take pictures, doesn't really like, you know what I'm saying, again, being out there in the forefront is it's hard because again, now I'm going to stop. Now I'm trying to put myself out there for the world to see. And so again, I'm breaking down barriers every single time because it's definitely hard, but it's definitely something that I'm trying to do. It's something that I'm pushing myself to keep doing and to keep fighting for. So now that I'm at a point where I'm comfortable in front of the camera, now I got to get comfortable promoting it. I got to get comfortable putting it out there. Continuing to promote it because I'm comfortable being in front of the camera and I'm comfortable putting, you know, my videos on YouTube, but I'm not promoting it on Facebook and I'm not promoting it on Instagram the way that I and on TikTok the way that I should be. But again, when I see my friends and family having success in their lanes and the new things that they're trying and they're not stopping and they're not letting their fear or their discomfort stop them, it's like, okay, well, I can't continue to make these excuses for myself because at the end of the day, that's all they are. That's all that I'm doing is just making excuses and I'm allowing my excuses and my fears to hold me back. So again, you know, as the name of the podcast says, beyond the fear. So now I'm doing my best to get beyond, to go past that fear, to start promoting myself a lot better and to start pushing my content or promoting my content a lot harder than what I'm doing right now because I know what I want to do. So now I have to genuinely ask myself, what am I willing to sacrifice and how hard am I willing to work to get that? And and I think that for definitely for the past couple of weeks, I've been scared to have this conversation with myself. Like, you know what you want to do. You know that this space is what you want to be in. This is what you want to do. How hard, number one, how hard are you willing to go to make it happen? And what sacrifices are you willing to make to get to where you wanted to be? And so, you know, it's just like, okay, I got to go all in on doing this. You know what I'm saying? If I'm serious about it, I got to put the serious work in. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm definitely going to start promoting the podcast episodes a lot harder than what I'm doing. Promoting it on Facebook, promoting it on Instagrams, and I'm gonna continue dropping you know, videos. I'm gonna try to do them every single day. Just, you know what I'm saying, just a little positive message every single day, trying to, because I feel like um I get I get worn down, not worn down, but I feel like I put way too much pressure on myself to make sure that I'm always putting out um a certain level of message. Like, you know, you always want your stuff to be the highest quality, but sometimes, you know, the message doesn't have to be this super profound, super intellectual, super deep thought. It could just be something as simple as keep going. You know what I'm saying? It could be something as simple as leave yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about yesterday. Focus on today. It's just so many just small messages, simple messages, positive messages that people need to hear in those moments that'll work, you know what I'm saying? That'll do, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to, and that's what I have to kind of get myself out of thinking that it has to be this super deep, super intellectual, super layered conversation. It can just be a simple believe in yourself. It starts with you. Focus on you. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Pour into yourself before you can pour into other. There's so many simple messages that I could talk about, but I convince myself or I trick myself into thinking, no, it has to be super deep, super layered, super complicated, whatever, before it can get to before I can put it out there. And it's like, no, those are just excuses that I'm making to not make the video, or it's excuses that I'm making to not post the video because I recorded it and I just didn't post it because I'm thinking, oh, it ain't deep enough. But again, I'm through with the excuses and I'm just finna just start posting because I know when my time comes, I want to be prepared for it. I want to make sure that I'm getting all of my nervousness, all of my excuses out the way. So that way, when my time comes and it's time to just go, because now I done popped for whatever reason, I done popped. And now my trajectory is just going up. I want to be prepared for that. So, you know what I'm saying? I know that there's going to be, when that time comes, there's going to be more things asked of me. People are going to want to expose me to more things, and they're going to want to open up more doors and more opportunities for more things. And so I'm trying to get all of my nervousness out the way. I'm trying to get all the remnants of, my comfort zone out the way, so that way I don't shy back and go in reverse when it's time. You know what I'm saying? When the lanes open up and it's time for me to get on that highway and it's time for me to start doing 80, I don't want to be shy, or, you know what I'm saying, like I say, go back into my comfort zone and go back in reverse. So I'm trying my best to do the work now, getting out while I have this prep time. I'm trying to get all my prep work in during this prep time. So that way, when it's time for those curtains to open up and it's time for me to be on the main stage and do my thing, I'm prepared. I know my lines. I've rehearsed it. And now I can go out there and be as normal and as natural and as much myself as possible. So that way I don't have to fake it for anybody or for anything. And I can just stay true to who I am and stay true to myself. And I'm not taking opportunities or doing things that I know I normally wouldn't do because I'm allowing the wrong things to take priority, or I'm allowing the wrong type of people to shift my focus or to shift my beliefs or to shift, my priorities. So as much as I want to pop right now, and as much as I would love to be moving up the ladders like I see my friends doing, I understand why this calm time, this still time is so important, because it's prep time. This is your prep time. This is your time to focus on you. This is your time to get in tune with yourself. This is your time to focus on your goals, your dreams, what's important to you, getting your priorities in order. So that way, when you now exposed to the world and now the world is exposed to you can stay focused. You can cut through all the BS. You can cut through all the nonsense. You can see through certain people, because you will start to see eventually they showing their colors, and those colors don't match what you're trying to do. Those colors are the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. So if you're in that moment of prep, take that prep time. If because you don't know when you're going to blow, you don't know when that success is going to come, but when it comes, you need to be prepared for it. So now is the time to be prepping. So instead of hating on the person next to you, or hating on the person that started after you, or hating on your friends and your family that's doing better than you, take this time to better yourself. Take this time to focus on getting done whatever it is that you need to get done. So that way you can be the best version of yourself when it's time for you to take off, because your time is coming. You know what I'm saying? As long as you stay with it, don't get so discouraged because you see other people doing it on a level that you're not doing it on. Don't get discouraged about that. Understand that your time is coming. You just have to wait for your time. It will come, but you have to be patient. And more importantly, start putting in that prep work now. Start preparing, so that way when your time does come, you're prepared for it. How many times have we heard stories about athletes or actors who get into this world? Again, they get exposed to this as an athlete. When you get on that professional level, you're exposed to the world and the world is exposed to you. Same thing as an actor. When you get on that certain level and you do that certain movie, and now your career is open wide, you know what I'm saying? You're exposed to the world and the world is exposed to you, and the world eats you up because you're not ready. You don't understand what your goals are. You start to forget what your focus is and what your priorities are because you don't have a good foundation. So instead of taking this time to hate on the people who are at a level that you're not, focus on you, focus on your foundation, focus on getting all of that prep, because when your time comes and now you exposed to the world, understand that world gonna try to hit you like a hurricane. It coming in like a whirlwind. So you have to make sure that your foundation is solid, that they can't rock you, that they can't break your foundation. They cannot rock your foundation. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be things that tear off, of course, but you got to make sure your foundation is solid. So right now, while you're waiting for your time to come, this is the time to be, making sure that your foundation is solid, be making sure that you're doing everything that you need to be doing to get to where you want to be, and understand that distractions are going to happen, but you got to make sure that you're mentally focused on what you need to be focused on. You're focused on your goals. You're focused on your priorities. You're making sure that the main thing stays the main thing, no matter how many distractions, whether that be women, men, drugs, um, you know, money to go do something that you shouldn't be doing. Like, you can't let these things distract you from whatever it is that's your goal, and making it to where you want to make it, and making sure that you make it to your goal intact. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you make it there whole. And the only way to do that is make sure that your foundation is solid, and making sure that the people around you are just as solid as you are, and their foundation is just as solid as yours is, because it's a cold world out here. And I know that from just coming from where I come from. So I can't even imagine, like, once you start to get out there to where the world knows you, you know what I'm saying, to where you can't even walk down the street without getting stopped. Oh, you're such and such. Like, now the world, got their hand, you know what I'm saying? Now the world knows you, man. The world has access to you. And so now so I'm saying all of that just to say, right now, while you haven't made it, right now, while you're waiting on your time to come, and you're patiently waiting for your time to come, start doing your prep work. Start getting your foundation solid. Start getting your core solid. Start getting your priorities in order. Start thinking about, start listening to these stories. Start listening to these athletes and these actors, and you know what I'm saying, these singers and these child stars who get on these podcasts and they tell their stories, whether you think they're crazy or not, whether you think their stories are true or not. Just listen and hear and pay attention to the fact that you know what I'm saying, you got to understand that people aren't just going to attack you. They're going to attack your parents. And I don't mean like physically attack. I mean, they're going to go after you. If they're going to try to get to you through your parents, get to you through your friends, get to you through some of your family members. They're going to get to you because they know, okay, this person really likes money. Let me see if I can give them enough money to go do this. You know what I'm saying? They know that that you shouldn't be doing it, or that ain't your lane. That ain't something that you support, whatever it is, but they throw enough money at you. Pay attention to all of these stories that are coming out, and start to listen and understand that they're not just going to try to attack you personally. They're going to attack you through the people around you. So you got to make sure during this prep time that you got the right people around you. Understand that, you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that their foundations are just as solid as your foundation. Make sure that their core is just as tight as your core. So right now, while you're waiting, this is the prep time. This is what you need to be doing while you're patiently waiting your turn and waiting your time. Stop focusing on what the next person doing. Now, if it's your friend and you want to support, of course, support. But after you support, now you got to get back focused and getting yourself together, because once it's time to go and it's time for your career to take off, you want to make sure that everything's together and you don't have things falling apart and falling to pieces because you didn't take the time to make sure it was well put together. So, man, I say all of that just to say, because when we were talking and we was having our conversation the other day, it was in that moment that we realized that this time right now was so important for us. So this time right now is important for me. And you know what I'm saying? I do love that my friends are doing what they're doing, and I do support them 100%. But again, I have to take this time now to focus on me and make sure that I'm getting my life together and make sure that I'm getting my foundation and my core together, because this time is so important, because by the time, my career takes off and I'm doing what I'm doing, it might be too late, or it might not, you know what I'm saying? I won't say it might be too late, but I'll just say, who knows who I might have let out, who I might let infiltrate my system, or infiltrate my infrastructure, if I'm not making sure everything is solid right now. So for me, especially after having that conversation, I'm taking this time, I'm refocusing my priorities, and I'm refocusing my perspective on this time, instead of looking at it like, man, when am I gonna pop? Or man, when is it my turn? When is it? I'm looking at it like, okay, while I'm not doing it and it's not my turn right now, let me get myself together. Let me make sure that the people around me are good. Let me make sure that they're solid. Let me make sure that my foundation's solid. Let me make sure that I understand what my goals are. I understand what I want to do. I understand how I want my life to look and how I want to live. And I get it that there are things in life that I won't be able to prepare for. There are things in life that I won't see coming. And I do understand that. So I'm not saying that my life is going to go step by step the way I want it to. But what I'm saying is that I'm preparing myself for every possible distraction that I can think of. And I understand that there are going to be distractions that I don't see coming. And there are going to be events in my life that I don't see coming, because they're so left field or they're so right field, and I'm not going to see them coming. But I got to make sure, because as long as my foundation is good, and as long as the people around me are good and we're solid, we can handle it. I can weather any storm as long as my foundation is solid. So that's what I'm focused on, is on making sure that my foundation is solid, because I can't predict everything. I can't think about everything. Even if I had 100 years to think about every single negative outcome that could possibly happen, there's always going to be 100 more things that I don't even think about. So instead of worrying about all the negative things that can happen, I'm just going to focus on my foundation and make sure that my foundation is good. So that way, no matter what comes my way, no matter what wind blows, no matter what storm, no matter what flood, no matter whatever comes my way, my foundation will be solid, and the people around me will be solid, and we'll make it through all of the, we'll be able to cut through all of the BS and all of the nonsense and all of the negativity that I know is going to flow my way, just because of where I am in life and what people are going to be seeing me doing versus, you know what I'm saying, or what people are going to see me doing and expect from me, or think about me because of where I come from. It's just going to be all types of things that's going on. But again, as long as your foundation is solid, you know what I'm saying, you can let people are going to attack, people are going to do whatever they want to do. But when your foundation is solid, when you stand on solid foundation, can't nothing rock you. They might be able to, you know what I'm saying, you might bend a little bit, but it ain't going to break you. You know what I'm saying? Because your foundation is solid. So the story, man, the message of the day is, you gotta wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait your turn. Don't rush your time. Don't rush to get to where you need to be, because you gotta understand that this time right now is important prep time. It's important to build yourself up. It's important for athletes. They can't go pro until a certain amount of time, because you gotta build your body up. You gotta build your understanding up. You gotta build your knowledge up to be able to play the game at a high level. So to play this game of life, or to play this game of whatever you getting ready to go, whatever field you're getting ready to go into, understand that this prep work is necessary. You got to put this prep time in to get to where you want to be, because you got to make sure that you're ready for all these bullets that's going to come your way in this, with the life that you're trying to, live, whatever, like I said, whatever field you're getting ready to go into, it's going to always be something that you don't expect. So that's why your foundation has to be solid. So don't rush your time. When your time comes, it's your time. When it's your time, it is your time to go. But until your time comes, until your name gets called, until you're center stage, you know what I'm saying, and those curtains open, be putting that prep work in to get to where you want to be and making sure that your foundation is as solid as possible. But that's my message for today. And again, I love and appreciate everything that y'all do. For everybody listening on any of the platforms, please leave comments. Let me know if there's anything that y'all want to talk about, anything you want me to touch on. Let me know your stories. If anything that I'm saying has helped you, please let me know. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. I want to continue to grow. And y'all be blessed and have a blessed day.